How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we've got another bit of Star Wars limited content for you guys, and this one is a deck profile. And it's going over Aggression Chirrut, because Chirrut is a leader I've been really enjoying so much that, like, in the beginning when I was looking through all the leaders, it was one of those ones that I didn't think could be great or be interested into it. And as I kind of looked into it and kind of thought about the effects of it, like on both sides, well, mainly the deployed side, I kind of started thinking about what good things can I make use of, and as I started delving into like double vigilance, I was also then thinking about whatever benefits can you get for different aspects. And as I went through from like aggression and went on to command and onto cunning, I came to realize that Chirrut is just like a really enjoyable leader and one that I really like. So I've got 4 different builds for it, and the first one we're going over is the Aggression Chirrut. And also with that as well, like it's just a really nice. This is such a really good, nice card game, and it's just deck building, which feels so great. So we're going to go over and have a look through my build for Aggression Chirrut, go over and like look at the card choices and things like that, and explain the deck. So if you're interested in that, keep watching and stay tuned, and also just enjoy it. So before we get into the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out with the video greatly, and the channel greatly as well. And also you can go click the notification bell to get alerts to when my videos do drop, so you can either watch them there and then or at a later time when it's convenient to you. But outside that, thank you for sticking with, and now we'll get into the video and check out Chirrut. So there is a few things to go over with Chirrut. So like we've got the different things I feel like kind of explain like why it's a good choice to play Chirrut if you're kind of on the fence and want to know kind of what benefits does Chirrut give over most. Well, there's 4 kind of things, and the first one is a very durable leader. Because if you haven't seen what Chirrut does, we'll go over that a little bit. But he's got it is very durable and can stay around, and it also, for the second point, brings into play some great force combos, because there's some really nice cards in both like aggression and vigilance that have require a force unit. And Chirrut being a force unit, also getting some benefits from Rebel as well, gives some nice little combos. And also has a pretty great play curve. Like, it's got some nice plays for each of the turns that go up until you get to the later end, and then do some really nasty things. And it's also got a very nice late game, because the longer you stay with Chirrut, the more it survives, the better it gets for you, really. So it's not really aggression. Like, even though it's got the aspect of aggression, it's not an aggro deck. It's more like a mid-range to late game deck. And if you're interested in those kind of things that kind of like we explained about the leader, then this could be the one for you. So we'll start off with our leader. So we've got the leader and our base, and this is the leader. And the more interesting side of this lead, and what drew me to it, is the deployed side. So we've got the one on the left is when it's just in your leader area and able to use. It hasn't got the greatest ability there. Its basically ability is to tap itself and then give a unit +0/+2 for the face, so giving it the extra 2 HP for the turn, which means it can kind of survive a little bit easier if your opponent's trying to take it out before it can attack. You can essentially boost up the health of one of your cards, so that way even if the opponent is able to do damage that would normally take it out, it won't take it out just yet, and you can get a swing of it or get some use out of it before it eventually just gets taken out. And it's one of those ones that kind of deploys quite early, because its action to deploy is if you control 5 or more resources, you can deploy it. So once you get the 5 resources, basically turn 4, you get to drop it onto the battlefield and into the ground arena. And when you do, it now has a different kind of ability. So it's got, I think there was something explained on this. I can't remember if it was in a video or in a article about that. Chirrut was first when it was designed. It was designed from the deployed side, and then the non-deployed side was done afterwards. So its deployed effect is during the action phase, meaning a phase where you conduct attacks, you play things out, activate events, things like that. This unit can't be defeated by having no remaining HP. So that means while during your active phase, if you do enough damage that would normally reduce its HP to 0, it won't be defeated. It will have to wait until the regroup phase to then it'd be like, right, now I haven't got many HP, now I'll be taken out, and it'd be defeated. And it hasn't got the best stats, but it's also a pretty decent one. So it's comes down on 5 resources, being turn 4, and it has 3 attack and it has 5 health. So not the best stats, but some pretty decent ones. And its traits are both force and rebel, so it gets a nice little benefit from being a force unit, which is what kind of drew me to it. And it's also got a nice little bit of rebel support, because as you've seen from decks like Leia and Sabine, they're very good with the aggression and some rebel kind of tech, and you can deploy that in Chirrut with some nice like rebel support. And then the base, we're going for like a red base, so an aggression base. And I was originally running Targeting Town because I felt like the epic action is quite nice to be able to deal 3 damage to the damage non-leader unit. And you can like deal some damage and then finish it off most of the time for any non-leaders. But like after playing it with the aggro, I did too bad against aggro. Like I played against Leia and Sabine. Sabine, I was able to take a game off and then just basically just kind of not have the best time in the other 2 games out of the 3, but I was able to like kind of take control. And when I won the game I did win, I was able to like take control and then basically just keep Sabine from keeping things on board. Just manage the board and just slowly chip away. And against Leia, it's just too aggro, too many attacks too quickly that I wasn't able to stop any of them or prevent them before I can actually get going. But since then, I've kind of mended the deck to what we have now. So I feel like if you have like me, like kind of did struggle a bit, aggro a bit, it will be best to have a 30 HP base with no like, epic action. But if you like the epic action, Targeting Town build, deal 3 damage to a damaged non-leader unit, then you can still go for it. So if you don't really fear an aggro, don't have that issue with aggro, go for the Targeting Town. If you kind of have a problem with aggro, then go for the 30 health base. So that's the base. So now we'll have a look at some of the cards in the deck. So we've got our force package. So this is one half of like one of the like nice things you get with this deck is a force package. So as you see from the bottom 4 on the right, you've got the events and upgrades that you can use and make use of if you have a force unit in play. Like most of them, you can actually basically make use of it, just use the card itself, but you get extra benefits if you have a force unit. So you've got Force Throw being the thing that kind of drew me to trying out aggression with Chirrut, and it's a 1-drop event where you choose a player, and that player discards a card from their hand, and then this is where you get the benefit of it of being a force unit, because then if you control a force unit, which Chirrut being like very hard to remove and very sticky, means you can keep that force unit there to get this extra benefit, and it allows you to deal damage to a unit equal to the cost of the discard card. So if your opponent discards quite a low costing card, you're going to do a little bit of damage, but then a little bit of damage can be enough to like have Targeting Town finish it off. But if your opponent discards a big costing card, so if you've got a big costing card and have to finish off that, you can do a lot of damage with it. So if your opponent, like I had one point where my opponent discarded a 6 cost card, and I was able to do 6 damage to a unit, basically taking something out, which is quite nice. Where every time I've done it and they've discarded a 1 cost card, I'm able to do one damage to something. But it's more that you get the control with like making them discard a card, plus also potentially taking off the field, getting an extra benefit, and just Chirrut being nice and sticky on board allows you to make use of it. And then you got It Binds All Things. This is a nice way to kind of like keep Chirrut around by kind of keeping the damage to like a reasonable level, because you don't want to end the action phase and go to the regroup phase with enough damage that Chirrut is at 0. So you kind of want to heal him. And It Binds All Things is a really nice one because it allows you it's a 2 cost, so not too expensive, and it heals up to 3 damage from a unit. And now, because Chirrut's a force, you get, because once again it's another force card, you get an extra benefit by having a force card on board. So it could be Chirrut or it could be something else. And if you control a force unit, you may deal that much damage to another unit. So being able to heal 3 damage, and then by having a force unit, being able to deal that 3 damage back is really nice. Being able to like keep something around, like keep Chirrut around by making him so he survives the turn with not enough damage to take him out, and then putting that damage somewhere else, because taking this something out, or even putting them so they're close and then finishing with a Targeting Town is a really nice thing. And then we got the Forces with Me. Now this is a more expensive one, 4 costs, but it gives a really nice payoff because it allows you to get some nice pressure, and even just remove things quite well for like attacking. Because the 4 cost is a Vigilance and Heroic one, so it's kind of like pairs pretty well with Chirrut, and he's even got him on the art because it's part of like his kind of like theme. And it allows you to choose a friendly unit and give it 2 experience tokens to it, meaning you get an extra 2 health and 2 damage on the card. So like remember, experience tokens give the card that is put on an extra 1/1 for its stats. So you put 2 experience tokens, meaning you have getting extra 2 damage and extra 2 health. And then if you control a force unit, which is never like thing that you kind of benefit from having a force unit with these cards, is you also give a shield token to that chosen unit. So give a extra 2/2 on a card and give it a shield, so that way you've got a nice little bit of protection. And then you can also attack with the chosen unit. So you can either go straight to the base, put an extra like 2/2 on a swing that just stays there, and gives also a shield to that card to kind of destroy that base. Or if you want to clear something out and not take damage back, you could aim it to a card, and then you got extra, a bit like 2/2 stronger. You got a shield token, so you're surviving, even if they could do enough damage to take you out, and then just taking something out or just doing a lot of damage to base. This is a really nice card and allows you to put like just like boost up Chirrut to be like a really big beefy card and allow him to survive there for great usage. And also the fact that the benefit of Chirrut here is that because he's a force unit, it's quite sticky, being able to like survive even no matter how much damage he takes, allows you to make use of this without having to hope a force unit survives. Because you can see we've got all these different force units. We've got not too many of the ones that come out early, but still you got the ones that later game that kind of like you sometimes don't have a any resource to use some of these event cards the same turn they come out. But if they do survive, you get to make use of it. Chirrut allows you to make use of these until you get these other force units out to kind of like help out Chirrut and not join the fray. And then one of the nice things we have is the upgrade. So this is the Jedi lightsaber upgrade. Now you can attach this to a non-vehicle unit, so any one of your non-vehicles, like actually people units. And if the attached unit is a force, so it gets a benefit on any of these, like against anything on anything else, it's just giving you a free, so extra free to your stats. But if you give it to one of these force units, get the benefit of also gaining on attack, give the defender -2/2 for this phase. Meaning that if you attack into anything, their attack and their damage and health is reduced by 2/2, meaning that they do less damage back and it's easier to kill them. Or even if they've just got 2/2 on their stats anyway, it puts down to 0 for both, and they just get removed by the game mechanics. It's a really nice one that especially put on Chirrut. It goes up then to a 6/8 leader that then on attack reduces something by 2/2 to make it harder to make it easier to remove things, and also more health and harder to remove. And like all these really nice things are nice to put on Chirrut, but also we have these other force units you can use, because we've got Guardian of Wills being a unit you can put as early as the first turn, and then after that point it's a force unit for some of these cards, plus Jedi lightsaber if it's the first upgrade you put onto it, which is also a nice thing to just put give an extra free to Guardian of Wills, make it so your first unit can actually like clear things that are harder to remove. If you do put on it as the first upgrade, it reduces it by 1, so Jedi lightsaber then becomes a 2 cost rather than a 3 cost if you put on Guardian Wills, and that allows you to give an extra more energy, more resources for the turn. I've only use things like Force Throw, it binds all things, stuff like that. Then we've got Yoda, is in like a turn 2 at the earliest kind of play, never force unit. Got costs a little bit more than Guardian Wills, but there's quite a bit more HP, and also has some restore, so that way it's healing damage from your base. You can now kind of deal with aggro a little bit easier. And I can make it quite big. I can make it a 5/7, and then be able to like clear things while also restoring your health on your base. And we've got Obi-Wan. This is a really nice one that just protects your base and your Chirrut from like damage in the ground unit when you get to the later turns, like the turn after it's deployed, or if you want to wait until turn 5 to deploy Chirrut, you can wait until you got Obi-Wan. And it also, if he does get removed, which he most likely will because he's protecting your base and you got to go through him to kind of get to your base, you give an extra 2 spirit tokens to a never friendly unit, and most of the time you're going to have Chirrut on board. And if it's a force unit, which Chirrut is, you get to draw a card, so you can get the full benefit of that, which is really nice. And then you've got Luke and Windu to kind of like finish off and go for the late game. Luke coming down and be able to minus something by 3/3 when it comes down, so that clears something or makes something easier to take out. But if then something on your board was removed, then you get to minus something by 6/6 instead, and being a restore 3 means you can put some nice damage, especially at a 6/7 for its stats. Being able to heal your base, kind of deal your opponent's board, command the battlefield, but also healing your base to survive a little bit easier is really nice. And you got Mace Windu to kind of come down with ambush. Ambush being such a good keyword for this game, and great way to kind of like manage boards before you can even get an attack off. And then also, if it defeats a unit, be able to restand, especially since you can heal it off as well. If you come down, swing something free energy, like free damage, and take free damage, you can use bind all things to kind of heal it off and then be able to swing. And Mace Windu can help you kind of clear the battlefield even more by attacking over and over again, depending on how much damage you can take. So that's the force package, really nice one, and kind of get the inspiration, mainly force throw is the inspiration behind going into the aggression version, but then it binds all things, forces with me, and Jedi lightsaber being main things that kind of drew me to Chirrut for basically just as a leader. And then remember, he is a rebel as well, so you got a rebel package, and we've gone for a more aggression kind of rebel package rather than a vigilance one, because vigilance doesn't have the best or most sort of hyped kind of units for vigilance. But luckily, aggression brings a lot of nice ones that are also rebels. So you got R2D2 being a nice one to drop early, be able to allow you to kind of look at the top card of your deck every time it attacks or when it's played, to be able to choose if you want to keep it on the top there to kind of draw into it, or bottom deck it if you feel like you don't really need it at the moment. to kind of like help you get through your deck, try and find things you want to do, and also get like some little chip damage from whenever it attacks, just as 1 damage. And 4 health as well means it's like it can survive a little bit easier, for last longer. And then for our space unit, for our Vigilance space unit, we've got restored Arc 170. I keep calling it Arc V for some reason, I don't know why. And this is a nice like one that can come out turn 1. Not too bad stats in 2-3. Also has restore 1 so it's healing off damage with base, so you can kind of like survive a lot easier and a lot longer. That's the nice thing about Vigilance is it gives you that longevity in like just healing and allowing you to survive a little bit easier. Then we've got some of the other two drop units that you can play turn 1 that are kind of useful. We got Green Squadron A-Wing for a nice like a decent and very strong aggressive kind of space unit, being able to be only 1-3, but then it has raid 2. So when it's like defending, it only does 1 damage, but when it's attacking, it gets raid 2, meaning it does 3 damage when it's doing the attacking, not defending. Same thing with Partisan Insurgent. If you control another aggressing unit, it gains raid 2 as well. So just like Green Squadron A-Wing, it can be like do more damage aggressively, but being while defending doesn't do much damage back. And it has a little bit more health than the Green Squadron A-Wing, but it needs a aggression unit on board to be able to go ahead and do that. But then we got quite a few cheap ones that can come down, so you can kind of get that going just to be more aggressive, kind of like help manage board. Then we got Sabine. So Sabine's another nice one, kind of like a 2-3, not being too bad on stats. But if you got at least 3 aspects of whenever you friendly units, it can be attacked into. So your leader also already gives you Vigilance and Heroic, and if you've got another unit on board, even in the ground arena or space arena, that has aggression, that's 3 aspects on other cards, meaning that you can have Sabine just be protected. And she does quite nice damage, because when she attacks, she allows you to deal 1 damage to defend the card you're attacking, so the defender, or to a base. So you can do that chip damage, which is quite nice, while also like trying to take out things as well. And then we got Red Freebie, another of our last space unit, and a nice one also defend, and it gives like a nice bit of boost to everything, whereas Green Squadron A-Wing is a little bit cheaper, but has just a little bit less stats, being like Red Freebie being a 2-3, whereas Green Squadron A-Wing being a 1-3. Red Free can also do the same thing as like applying the same kind of pressure, essentially doing 3 damage when it attacks, because it has raid 1. But not only that, but it also gives every ever friendly heroic unit, which is most of the units in your deck. I think mostly all units. Maybe not. I think Guardian Wheels is probably the only one I can think of that isn't a heroic unit, and give it so it has raid 1, so they do a bit more damage when attacking, which is nice. And then we got the Fleet Lieutenant being a nice one to help with these rebels, allowed to like push and control board, because it's a free cost, free units with very good stats. And when it's played, you can attack with a unit, and if it's a rebel, which we got this whole rebel package that you can choose to kind of get this benefit, it gets an extra 2 damage for the attacks. So it means it does 2 more damage when it attacks, meaning you can go and hit a base hard or do enough damage to kind of take out something that might be quite bulky. And then we've got the really strong and really like very, very strong K2SO. Like, this is a really annoying card to deal with, and also a really good unit to use if you can use it. Because it's a 4 cost, 4/4, which is pretty decent stats. It's also Rebel, which gets the benefit of all this Rebel package, and it's got Overwhelm, meaning if it does damage that would exceed the HP, like the health on a unit, it does that excess to the base. So like say if you've got like a R2D2 and it's got 3 damage running, you attack with this. It only takes 1 more damage to finish R2, so that extra 3 damage over will go onto the base. And then you got when defeated, for each opponent you choose one of either dealing 3 damage to that player's base, or making that player discard a card from hand. So it adds to like the same thing as Force Throw, where you can kind of like reduce your opponent's hand, so they limit their options they have, where they might want to keep something, where you can make them discard, like kind of control their hand, or you can just be more aggressive and just do damage to a base to kind of like just push that pressure. So that's a Rebel package, so pretty nice to add to it to kind of like help with managed boards and kind of compete and kind of manage against aggressive decks. This wasn't the exact list I'm running, but I've amended it since I played at my locals with it to kind of make it a bit more, a bit better at kind of defending against aggro and kind of managing that, but also still doing what you want to do and get to like later game and kind of like just drop in and just be aggressive with Chirrut when we get to a later game with like things like Luke and stuff. And then the last card we got, the other card that's not really a rebel or a force unit or benefits force units, is our electric staff. So never upgrade, a second upgrade. I did have originally the red one, the one that gives saboteur, but it wasn't actually useful because I didn't really come across many sentinels, and even then you're going to just swing into them with like things like Jedi lightsaber, just reset and be able to take them out easily without too much worry. But electric staff is a nice one to keep things around and keep it a bit harder to take out, because for only 2 energy, for 2 resources, it gives an extra 2/2 to stats, but also gives a nice little extra benefit while the attached unit is defending. So if the attached unit, whatever this is attached to, is being attacked, the attacker does 1 less damage to you. So it gets -1 when you whatever is attacking the units it's attached to. So it is a nice one, and once again, it can be reduced to the cost of this, putting it on Guardian Wall, so you can technically in turn 2 put this on and still have 2 energy after having Guardian of Wills on the first turn to be able to make it a little bit stronger and have this to defend itself. And that is essentially the deck. So we do have a side deck as well. I did put together a side deck, and I put in these 5 cards in the side because I felt like Regional Governor would be a nice one where if you're going against a deck and you know that you've got like a certain kind of playstyle. Because remember, we haven't got too many space units, we've got 3. So if your opponent's going to go, if you played against the game 1 and you kind of know what they're trying to aim to get out game 1, or you want like a stop defense so they can come down, you got the initiative. You can play out Regional Governor, who's quite bulky, being at like only does 1 damage but has 4 health, so that's quite nice to survive. And you can name a card, and the opponent can't play it. Play the named cards. If you're expecting your opponent to try and aggro you in space, and with like Green Squadron A-Wing, you can play this down, called Green Squadron A-Wing. Now they can't play that card. So if they were originally going to play that, they cannot now. And if you're lucky enough that they don't have any other play for that turn, because they can't play the Green Squadron A-Wing, which is what they had to play, then you've kind of like prevented them from being able to actually use their turn, or like prevent an action from them. And we also have System Patrol Craft, another way to kind of like help with dealing with aggression from the space arena, because it's a 4 cost, but then has 3/4 as its stats, which is not too bad, quite decent. It does like fight back against things like Green Squadron A-Wing, where it will take it back out where you won't die yourself. And as Sentinel to make sure it draws the attacks to itself rather than from your other space units or your base. Then we have Takedown, being a nice one for a 4 energy, as a nice little event to defeat any unit with 5 or less remaining HP. And this is not one of the many cards that say you can't target a non-leader unit. So this is a nice way to deal with like some leaders that you don't want to attack into. So if you go against Sabine coming down, you can keep the 4 energy. As soon as they apply it, you just go, okay, I'm gonna defeat Sabine with Takedown. Or anything else, if it's something you want to just take out without having to swing into it, you can just take it down with this, and it's a nice little thing in the sideboard for the removal. And you've also got Open Fire as well as another way to help like deal with units, where for 3 energy it's quite good. 3 energy, you do 4 damage. So I think about if you're thinking about it as like 1 resource for 1 damage, then you do it getting an extra 1 for free. So it's like buy 3, get 1. Buy 3, get 1 free. So you do 4 damage for 3 resources, which is quite nice. That can sometimes be helpful to kind of like deal with something that you don't want to deal with. Like say if you're not finding any space units to help deal with the space arena, but your opponent's got something that is kind of like hitting you and annoying you, you could always use Open Fire to try and get rid of it. Whereas if you don't have a space unit, or vice versa, if you don't have a ground unit but have space units. And then another way to kind of like deal with space units, because got a lot of stuff to deal with the ground arena, but we've not got the best kind of things to deal with space. Sometimes you're kind of like lacking on it. So we've got Entrench as another way to kind of like just chuck it on something that's in an arena that you're not really putting many resources into, make it so they can't get a lot stronger, but they can't attack bases. Like this is a nice thing to put on either if you're not going for your opponent's base with a certain card, you can put on your card to kind of boost it so you can start managing the board a lot easier. Or you can put on your opponent's units so they can't attack your base, but they can attack your units. But if you're like say in Space Arena, you've got nothing in there, but they've got 1 thing in there, you can put that on that space unit. Now it's there, it can't attack your base, and if you've got nothing in your arena to attack, it's basically useless just sat there doing nothing. So that's the side deck. Like, can put a bit of work in. I kind of like change it up, but this is what I originally got after a little bit of testing with the deck. And then that brings us to the final list. So this is the final list, and the ratios are well. So we've got 3 of everything, apart from we've got only 2 copies of Restored Arcs. So we've got we've only technically got 8 space units. Then we've also got only 2 copies of the Force with me, because it's a more later game thing. And normally you want to use it on Chirrut, or make sure you got a Force unit, which if Guardian of Wills and Yoda doesn't survive, the best one you've got then is Chirrut as a way to use it. And then, because normally you have to wait and hope that the other Force units being Obi-Wan, Luke, and Mace, they hope they survive the turn, use the turn after. So this is more useful with Chirrut, just protected, make it a little bit stronger so he survives a bit easier, and then pop. And then we've only got 2 of our later game units, being Luke and Mace, because you don't want to be clogged out with them earlier, and you want to get to the late turn and then find them. So having it 2/2 means you won't draw into them hopefully too early. And if you do, you can always charge one and hope that you'll see another one, or just hold on to it if you feel like you can get there. And then for the sideboard, each of those 5 cards, because you only have 10 cards in sideboard, we've got 2/2 of each. So I need to test out which ones are more useful and which ones what cards I might need. But this is the list there. So if you're interested in Chirrut and you're interested in the aggression version, here we are. Feel free to try it out and enjoy it. I know I will, and I am continuing to enjoy it. But remember, if you feel like the base, you can always switch out to a 30 HP base if you feel you struggle with aggro. So you have that extra health, because that can actually help quite a bit. But if you don't really worry too much about aggro, and you feel this could be useful against aggro and not have too many issues, you can keep it starting town, because it adds that nice little extra. The epic actions, if you do damage with it, like say with your binds or things, do a little bit of damage, you can use targeting town to kind of finish it off. So that's it from me. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this, if there's any suggestions you have, because I'm always welcome to feedback, because I'm still new into the game, learning it, getting into it, and really enjoying it, and any little bit helps. So thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.